This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, certified dream life coach, Debbie Spector-Weissman. This is a place where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to make the internal shift to a life you love and rediscover the truth of who you really are. Let's start off today by giving you a little peek behind the curtains of Dream Power Radio. When I first started this podcast, my main focus was on nighttime dreams. How by paying attention to these nocturnal messages, we can gain greater self-confidence and self-awareness and insights in ways we just can't do in our waking hours. And while dream work is incredibly special to me and responsible for the transformations I've had in my own life, I too realize that those of you who find themselves not being able to remember your dreams naturally might want to seek out different ways for self-improvement. So over the course of this podcast, I've expanded into talking about our daytime dreams by reaching out to experts in all areas of empowerment. And in doing so, I've greatly increased my own understanding of effective ways of connecting with our inner selves, and I hope that you have too. Well, recently, I became aware of a man who's had great success with one of the most unusual methods I've ever heard of. Vinnie Stergin is the founder of the Mindful Ukulele Method that pairs the practice of mindfulness with ukuleles. That's right, ukuleles. I mean, that got me really curious. So I'm bringing him on now to explain how this musical instrument can make such a positive difference in people's lives. Welcome to Dream Power Radio, Vinnie.
Hello, Debbie. Beautiful. Nice introduction. Loved everything you said there.
Well, Vinnie, I understand that you're actually a trained musician, but whatever got into your head to ukuleles and mindfulness go together?
I've been always, besides being an artist, besides being a recording artist and a live artist, musician, creator, I've always been an educator. So it was as a self-employed musician, you got to spread your wings wide and far. And teaching has always been a thing I did on the side, but actually the more I did it, the more I loved connecting with people and sharing what I can do with people who don't have anything to do with music. And at some point, someone wanted ukulele lessons. I'm mainly a guitar player, but ukulele I always played on the side as well. It's quite an easy instrument. And that's exactly the point. It's very easy to learn instrument. It's very accessible. And mindfulness and meditation has always been a very important part of my own mental health regime. So at some point, I started to introduce some exercises with my students, and they found it immensely helpful because they didn't know about it. And then I just started to do different exercises alongside the lessons, and it just made a very big impact in their life because they only came to learn how to play an instrument, but then actually they learned something much more deep that started to affect other areas of their life, especially if those people are having a lot of stress because they have stressful jobs, stressful lives, and so on. And so I just combined them into my new teaching method.
Start by combining the mindfulness with the ukulele lessons, or the ukulele lessons with the mindfulness?
Sorry, can you say it again? You were cut out for a second.
I said, did you start with combining the mindfulness to the ukulele students, or did you combine the ukulele with the mindfulness students?
No, so I started to combine the mindfulness with the ukulele students.
And was it something like, did one of the students reach out to you and say, this is interesting, but I stressed out or something, or how did that actually evolve?
It's some of my students, not all of my students are, so I have quite a big range of people, of different kinds of people from all socioeconomic backgrounds. And what I noticed with a specific group of people who work a lot, people who are in stressful environments, doing corporate jobs and not having music in their lives, they first start to come to me because they sort of are in a career where they wanted to be. But I always sensed, okay, they are looking for something deeper. And it was like trial and error. I thought, okay, would you like to do a little breathing exercise? And people were really hooking onto that. And then I thought, okay, it's actually really beautiful to combine something like the ancient old history of mindfulness with the learning of an instrument, because you help people to develop healthy habits that impact their lives in many other areas while they're also learning how to play an instrument. So it's quite amazing that you start doing something fun like playing the ukulele, but then also learning all this other stuff. And people were just really loving it. And then I just kept doing it and experimenting more. And over the years, I just developed it into my very own teaching method.
Yeah. So you said that you are using the ukulele because it's an easy instrument to learn. Uh, how easy is it? Because I mean, I don't really play very many musical instruments, and could I pick up the ukulele and learn how to?
Yes, I promise you, if we have a lesson after an hour, you're going to play your first song. I mean, it's always, of course, everyone is different. But the thing is, even when you just strum the strings, well, with the open strings, which anyone can do, this is the first step of engaging in music, engaging in creativity. And very often, what I also find is that a lot of my work is helping people to trust themselves again, to jumpstart their curiosity, to tell them, okay, yeah, you can do that. Don't worry. We're gonna make hundreds of mistakes, but it's not about this. It's all about starting a journey and immersing yourself in creativity. And music is just a very natural way for us humans to express ourselves. And by doing that, it just opens up so many other things. But I say anyone can learn music. And also one of my other main things that are very important to me as an educator is to open up this world that I love and that I'm passionate about to anyone. Because, in our society or in our times where everything is perfect, there's the perfect selfie culture, there's an app for everything to optimize your life. And I want to get people away from that. I want them to forget about it and just take something in their hands, an instrument, and start exploring it. And it's kind of magic, like creating a sound or writing a song is really magical. And very often we forget about this in our crazy lives where we have to pay mortgages, take care of all our crazy lifestyles that we have. And it's just an amazing way to stop the noise and start to grow out from yourself again.
Yeah. Is
Do you
it that
understand what I mean?
is it that you're getting them to focus on something so that they're putting their attention on something that's beautiful and magical like music and not putting their focus on the others that are going on in their life?
Exactly. And that's a side product, because you meet with someone. It's not about creating the next musical genius or whatever. It's all about engaging in the creative act and gaining a new perspective. And your universe is only as big as your perspective. And if you open your perspective, suddenly and we all have that as kids very naturally, when we don't think about optimizing stuff. But as we grow older and as our responsibilities grow, very often this gets lost, but we still have it. And by engaging in a creative act, I also always I found in myself in many things that many of the answers that I'm having, many of the questions that I'm having, I have the answers already. I just need to let them grow out of me, of myself, and just stop the noise and listen to myself again. And music or my method is just a tool to allow that again.
Yeah, and I think also it's probably fun too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's fun. It's connecting over something beautiful, and it's a lot of fun. I always have make really deep connections with my students, people who I don't know, and after 2 months, you just get to know each other. It's just I love it.
Okay, so talk to me a bit about the experience. Give me an example of like someone who comes in and hasn't played ukulele before, and you get them into it. What is the session like for them? What happens when they leave? Tell me about the difference.
So we start wherever my new student is. Some people maybe have had some kind of lessons in their lives. Some people would have always liked to have music in their lives, but either they never got the chance or life got in the way. And so I just start wherever we are. And the first steps are very simple. It's call and response. I play something on the open strings, the other person plays something back, and then we just grow it from there. And lots of the work that I'm doing is also more from the mindfulness side, is focusing on the breathing, because loads of people forgot how to breathe. It's a very simple thing actually, but we're not aware of it anymore. And my whole method is about realigning your body with your mind, and breathing work is a big part of that. So we start to do some simple exercises, just becoming aware of our breaths. This turns into short meditations where we become aware of different body parts. And it's always going between those two, doing a bit of music, doing a bit of meditation, breathing work. And by the end of the lesson, usually people are much calmer. They experienced something they never did before. They get the feeling, hey, I can do that. I thought I never could do that. Everyone always told me you can't. And it's just creating an awareness for themselves and being calmer after a session.
Yeah, I would think it would also promote greater self-confidence.
Exactly. So it's a lot about confidence and telling people you can do that. It's not rocket science, and each journey has a different speed, but it's also then becoming aware of your own speed and allowing your own speed. And everyone's just very different, but everyone has the same. Everyone is the same has the same importance.
Oh, this is so fascinating. And Vinny, I want to hear more about this, but we have to take a short break now. We are speaking all about mindfulness and ukuleles with Vinnie Stergin, and we'll be right back. Are you a woman over 50 feeling lost and disconnected? Have your dreams been shattered by self-doubt and insecurity? We understand. Our new guide, Morning Confidence Boosters, is designed to help you finally break free from the chains of doubt and insecurity that have been weighing you down. It's a 5-step plan that will empower you to tap into your inner strength and courage, allowing you to take control of your life and start living with purpose and passion. Rekindle that lost spark of confidence and start moving toward your goals with newfound enthusiasm. Invest in yourself. Take the first step toward true confidence today with Morning Confidence Boosters. Click on the link in the show notes for more.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Yes, welcome back to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman, and we're talking about ukuleles and mindfulness with Vinnie Stergin. Well, Vinnie, so I want to talk a little bit more about just the power of music itself, because music is its own language. We don't really usually, people who aren't musicians don't think of it as being a language, but it has such a powerful effect on us. So just speak a bit about, the power of music itself.
As we were talking before, music has always been around as a very basic way of expressing our feelings. Even back in the caves, we started to hit things and then rhythm came about. Or even when you talk, when I talk, when anyone talks, we're creating music where there is the voice goes up and down rather than speaking like this. So we're creating music all day long, and it's just an amazing way of creating connection, communicating with each other. I may share a story. I was working for the past 5 years, 4 years. I was working in a prison in Southeast London, where I worked with young offenders in the prison system and showed them how to produce beats. It was lots about music production, like the technology behind it, but also about songwriting. And for me, it was such an amazing experience to come into a room with people I don't know, people who are at the end of society that no one wants. We put them there because through whatever reason they ended up there. We could talk a lot about that. But I come in there with strange accents, and then instantly we can talk about something. And we both share the same passion. And that was for me one of the most amazing experiences, that we can come from such different backgrounds and instantly we have something that connects us. And music, like wherever you go, it doesn't matter what country you go, music is everywhere, and it's always a language that is in another frequency, similar than dreams, right? Dreams are also just another frequency of reality, or something what our souls or our minds want to tell us. And tapping into that frequency, anyone can do that, and it's just very powerful, and it pierces through cultures, through loads of differences. It's just something inherently human.
Oh yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about, the effect it had on the prisoners? I mean, did you see any kind of transformation taking place with them?
It's hard to say, if I'm very honest. It's from a because I've met my students there just for a short amount of time, once a week. But for that amount of time, I could definitely see them being engaged in something. It was not about what they did wrong. We just focused on something positive, on something beautiful. And maybe one of the effects is that people learn about clear communication. It's about accountability. Okay, if we want to record a song, we got to do this and this and this first. And if you don't do that, we can't go there. And it's also about adaptability, because things go wrong all the time, or the infrastructure within the prison was very basic. So we always had to come up with ways to make things work. And from that point of view, it certainly helped people to get better at those soft skills, how we call it, right? And all in a very playful way. It was not a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, this is how you get better at communication, but it's all about just very practically doing something, and through that process, developing those skills.
Yeah, I mean, that is, it's wonderful work that you're doing. And, it brings to mind a dream worker friend of mine who has spent time with going into prisons and teaching them about dream work and how to, remember their dreams and work with their dreams. And she had found great changes in some of them, the prisoners who knew they were going to be getting out, and the insights into themselves, the way they were able to help themselves. Some of them were able to get off drugs, and some of them were able to resolve some of the traumas that they've had. And so when
Oh,
they
yes.
got out of prison, they were better equipped to deal with the post-prison life than somebody who
Yeah,
had
yeah.
those skills and then would get out and then probably end up going back in because
Yeah. And fascinating. I never thought about that, like teaching dream work in a prison, but obviously it's a good idea. What I found is also some of the people in there or maybe most of them have experienced horrible things in their lives, be it growing up in abusive families, being surrounded by drugs and just horrible circumstances, and being able to put some of those things, some of those feelings into words, and even just speaking it out loud is a way of processing it, even if some of the lyrics were very graphic and very brutal. But I think it's a good way of just relieving yourself of those things that you have inside, rather than always digging them deeper and deeper. Like bringing it up is a better way of trying to deal with it in some way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thoughts, the feelings that remain hidden and don't get expressed are the ones that get festered and turn into the
Exactly.
spiral that people go through. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
did you bring the ukuleles into the prison?
No ukuleles. It was hard to. It was very hard to bring anything in there. But we had computers and some really really old guitars with 2 instead of 6 strings. But even that, we just used that and made something out of it.
You can make sound from anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly, work with it. But I want to get back to your session. So, when you see people, do they just have one session with you, or do you go through a whole series? How does that work?
I have one of my main thing that people do is a 12-week course. So it's like a 12-week mindful ukulele course where we start somewhere, and by the end of those 12 weeks, I want my students to be able to play their favorite songs. At the beginning, we always make a list. Okay, these are the songs I want to be able to play. And I also I want them to have the mindfulness tools that they can then take on in their lives, like all basic meditations that we keep doing. And lots of my students actually they stay on. Some of them stay on to learn how to play the guitar, or want to, like I have one student and he just loves coming once a week out of he's working 15 16 hours every day, and once a week when we meet online, so it's most of those lessons are online with people from all over the world, it's just a time out for him to just focus on this thing, have a nice time together, learn something fun, and exploring music in a non-judgmental and positive environment.
Yeah, that is so amazing. And you could see the effects, just even on the smile on your face, people who are listening, the smile, you just talking about it brings such a smile to you. So I can see you get an awful lot of satisfaction out
Oh
of it.
yes, yeah, totally.
Do you have your ukulele with you now, by any chance?
Yes, it's sitting next to me. Ta-da!
Okay. So can you give me a little taste of kind of thing you do?
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Is it in tune? Yeah. I'm gonna just do a little groove and just come up with something. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, nice, nice. So in one session, you could have somebody playing chords like that.
Maybe not so many chords. That I have a couple of tunes ready up my sleeve that only use one chord. That is, for instance, the Bob Marley tune. Get up, stand up for your rights.
Oh, yes.
Has just only one chord, which is quite easy to play, and it's a fun tune to play.
I bet the people who've never picked up a ukulele before are amazed that they can actually play it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also for lots of people, then when they go home and can and share this with their kids, with their partners, it spreads the love further out from the lesson. And it's such a simple thing. Like, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just using very basic ingredients, but it has big effects on people's lives, even if they try it out and just give it a go. But I always find that people leave with a smile on their face and think, oh yeah, that's pretty cool that I did that.
I would think so. And, it's funny. I just the other day read that Dick Van Dyke at age 97 has taken up the ukulele because he said, I want to learn something new.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So I guess you can do it at any age. You can make it happen.
Yes, it's all about just being open, being curious, and allowing yourself to dive into something.
That is something. Well, this time has gone by very, very fast. So do you have a final word you'd like to leave for our audience?
First of all, it was really beautiful to chat to you. And if anyone is interested in my Mindful Ukulele Method, especially for you, lovely listeners, you can go on power.mindfulukulelemethod.com, where you get a free 4-part mini course. I recorded some videos and we're going to learn first chords. It's over 7 weeks. You get sent some emails. Just go there and try it out. It's nothing you can lose. And if anyone's interested, just hit me up. Or if you have any questions, drop me a mail. It would be lovely to hear from you.
Okay, so could you repeat the website again?
It's at power.mindfulukulelemethod.com.
Wonderful. Well, Vinnie, thank you so much for being on Dream Power Radio today.
Yeah, beautiful to be here. Have a lovely day.
Okay. We've been speaking about the transformational power of music with ukuleles with Vinnie Stergin. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. If so, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Until next time, this is Debbie Spector-Weissman saying, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio.